The GTF project is coming to an end after 5 years, almost 5 years of implementation. We have had an opportunity to hear from the different country programs, and we've also had an opportunity to visit some of the projects where the GTF partners are implementing. What is your impression about what you have heard and what you have seen?
The GTF program, first of all, aims to improve accountability and responsiveness of the duty bearers by strengthening the capacity of the citizens to hold them to account. What happened over the past 4 years and 9 months has been incredible. I think in most of the countries, they've been huge success, very successful stories, very positive stories of citizens being empowered to hold the governments to account. The best example is the community that we visited today, where they have been given a dam. They came from a situation where they didn't have any water. They used to walk 6 kilometers to fetch water. But through the advocacy work we've done with them, through the training, through the awareness raising, they've been able to form advocacy groups. They've been able to understand that they had rights to get access to water, and they went to the district and they demanded to have water. It's great. They got to a point, but I think the great learning that we got today, and as a general learning for the GTF program, is we got to a certain point, but there is more to do. They got to a point where they didn't have water, they got water, but now the whole idea is to move forward and to get more cleaner water in order to meet their needs. So generally, I think the GTF program, as I said earlier, has been a success to some extent, but there are much more to do in order to sustain and citizens to fully meet their rights and entitlements.
In case you don't get any other opportunity to implement a similar project, what will you remember most about the
I usually use an example of bowling. Bowling, for those who played it, would know that you have 10 pins that you need to take down. And you have a ball that you throw, but you don't throw the ball anywhere. There is one particular point that you need to hit in order to make a strike, which means you need to have the 10 pins down. And I think GTF has been able to do that, and that would be the thing that I would remember the most. We don't need huge amount of money to make big difference. From little things, grow big things. And I think that's the greatest thing that happened through GTF. Throughout the program, we work with local communities like this one, but that have been able to make a greater impact. And I think this is a lesson that we're learning here. It's a bit like, again, another analogy, it's a bit like the ink in the paper. So you put ink in a paper and the ink is just spreading around the white paper. And that's the whole thing about GTF, and that's the thing I'm going to remember the most. That commitment from the different actors that have been involved in the GTF program, doing little things to grow big things.
If you are given an opportunity to have another project for maybe another term for GTF, this time around, what will you do differently?
I'm not sure whether it's what I would do differently, because I think GTF, as I said earlier, GTF has helped us to move from a point A to a point B. I think there are more to do in order to provide water and sanitation to everyone. So everyone, everywhere having access to water and sanitation, there are much more to do. And I think we will be building on the success that we already made in order to replicate it and to scale up the achievement. So it's not doing it differently, but it's to extend, to scale it up, and to share that learning across the country, across the regions, across the globe, because the GTF has been covering 16 countries across Africa, Asia, and Central America, and there are much more to do. If we take East Africa, we're working currently in Ethiopia, Kenya, and Uganda, but there are many countries in Eastern Africa. How can we use the learning in those 3 countries to replicate across the region? That's what I would do. That would be the next phase of the GTF, and not replicating the same things again, because we've reached a certain point and we need to move forward or beyond.